Welcome back to Sports Final Edition. We have a special guest today, a guest you all know here in Metro Detroit, Rob Parker. Now, Rob, you're on the phone because you're out in LA. You're a Fox Sports 1 analyst. You're on Fox Sports Radio. You do The Odd Couple, which you can hear here on WDFN locally, weeknights 7 to 10. You teach at USC, and I guess the first question is, have you forgotten about us here at Metro Detroit?
Never. Are you kidding? Come on, Jay. Come on. Love Detroit. People ask me all the time, do I miss it? Absolutely.
Well, we miss you. I saw on Twitter that you went to Antarctica, your 7th continent. You're a world traveler, and you wrote a book. Is it about Antarctica?
No, the Antarctica trip was unbelievable. What a breath of fresh air. And to reach down to the end of the earth and go to a place that so few people will ever get to see. And it's nature at its finest, virtually untouched by man.
Your pictures were cool.
Yeah, on social media, thank you. But I was going to say the book is called If I'm Writing, I'm Ripping. And you know, when I was in Detroit, writing for the Free Press first and then the News, it was my style. So it's a collection of columns over the years. It has a lot of Detroit stuff in there. So if you want to pick it up, you can go to Amazon.com.
You're on Amazon.com. I love it. Well, since we have you here, can we ask you a couple things? Maybe you could rip a couple, teams from Metro Detroit.
It would feel like all home week for me. Absolutely.
All right, then let's start with the Lions. They haven't won a game since October 27th. The latest we heard, Matt Patricia is staying next year. What are your thoughts?
Which is totally outrageous, and Lions fans should be bummed out and pissed at Bob Quinn because they ran Jim Caldwell out of town despite making the playoffs a couple of times. If you remember, Bob Quinn said that beating bad teams didn't matter and they expected more.
And he also said 9-7 wasn't good enough.
Exactly. And they're not even close to 9-7. And the notion that they would bring back Patricia after this, I know they'll use the excuse of Matthew Stafford getting injured, but these 2 years have been brutal. And Bob Quinn, failure, Matt Patricia, failure, and the Lions are no closer to getting to a Super Bowl.
All right, devil's advocate. You got to give a coach more than 2 years. That's what some people say.
Based on what? If you know that it's not working, which it hasn't been working, and even before the injury, if you would think about the start of the season and that they blew the game to the Cardinals, right, that they tied in game 1, they held Patrick Mahomes to no touchdowns in Detroit, lost that game. They were in the red zone all night against the Packers and settled for field goals all night and lost that game. So if you go back to the start of the season and look at those games, they weren't even playing well then when they were actually playing well.
Yeah, and Matthew Stafford was having a career year, and that defense has been awful. Last question is going to be about Jim Harbaugh. You know, they're playing Alabama on New Year's Day. Does that game matter if they can beat them?
Well, first of all, it's a day late and a dollar short. Alabama isn't the same team that it was. Obviously, they're not in the playoff picture, but I don't even think Michigan deserves such a game like that to play Alabama. And Jim Harbaugh, again, you want to talk about a total failure. People can say that he's made Michigan relevant again. That's not why he came to Michigan. That's not why he's one of the top 4 most highly paid coaches in college football. He was supposed to get them into the playoff and put Michigan with a chance to win a championship, and none of that has happened. It has been a disaster in Ann Arbor, and anybody else who was coaching that team and put up the same numbers that Jim Harbaugh has, including that not beating Ohio State in his tenure, would have been run out of Ann Arbor, and only because he's a Michigan man and they have love for him as a former player is the only reason he still has that job.
Well, you did it. You ripped 2 teams. I can't imagine what you would be writing if you were here in Detroit. We've had some struggles with the sports teams. But one more time, what's the book called?
It's called If I'm Writing, I'm Ripping, and you can get it at Amazon.com. What a great stocking
stuffer.
Easy for me to say. So,
Rob Parker.
yeah, I think you would enjoy it.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to let you sign off here, like old times.
Okay, Jamie, will NBC you later.
Stick with us on Sports Final Edition.